So, I got drunk, had a thought, often a terrible combination, I know, but I think I've got this one, and decided to browse certain sections of the OHRC's policies, and I'm now going to attempt to demonstrate, using the language of the OHRC's policies, that cis people can choose to identify as trans people. For those who may be unaware, the OHRC's policy on preventing discrimination because of gender identity and gender expression describes the term cis in section 4.3, titled Cisnormativity. Cisnormativity, cis meaning the same as, refers to the commonplace assumption that all people are cisgender, not trans. In other words, their gender identity is in line with or matches the sex they were assigned at birth, and everyone accepts this as the norm. Now, not all, hashtag not all, but most people are cisgendered, and that's not like most people somewhere between 75 and 80% or 85 and 90%. It's most people, 99.8% of people. It is quite literally, quite mathematically, the norm. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being outside the norm, the same way there's nothing wrong with actually establishing a norm. Moving on. Section 3. Gender identity and gender expression. Trans, or transgender, is an umbrella term referring to people with diverse gender identities and expressions that differ from stereotypical gender norms. Now, here they don't explicitly use the term non-binary, but they do use the term gender non-conforming. Gender non-conforming individuals do not follow gender stereotypes based on the sex they were assigned at birth, and may or may not identify as trans. Now, I imagine non-binary gender identities fits into this definition of gender non-conforming. Now, about the gender stereotypes, most people, most cisgendered people, don't follow gender stereotypes based on the sex they were assigned at birth, but they just do what they want. And some of that will fall into gender stereotypes, and some of it won't. The existence of non-binary gender identities is predicated on the concept that gender is a spectrum. And if gender is in fact a spectrum, then masculine cis man and feminine cis woman are on that spectrum. It's not fair to say they aren't. The same way it isn't fair to say that violet and red aren't on the spectrum of visible light because they're the extremes of visible light. It's still part of that spectrum. It's still visible light. It's still a gender, and therefore on the spectrum. Being on the spectrum, a masculine cis man or a feminine cis woman has every right to claim that they are in fact non-binary. And if they're non-binary, they're gender non-conforming. And gender non-conforming individuals may or may not, but they may identify as trans. Cis people are trans people if they choose to be. This is the gibberish of the OHRC. I've titled this video the way I did because I saw that Lauren Southern video about clickbaity titles, and I thought it was really funny, and this idea was just so out there that an out there kind of title felt like it fit really nicely. So, yeah. Thanks, Lauren. Relevant links to shit I said in the description? Maybe. I'm Irving Twin. Like, subscribe, or don't. It's a free country. At least it used to be.